Let me talk about contacts then. Okay, so back to your inbox. There's a couple ways to get contacts. There's a button up here, but you can also do it within this window, and it just shows up in here as another folder. And so you can create group lists. One of the things that was mentioned, like how do you import your contacts if you have a whole bunch of email addresses from a class or whatever, you can import. And again, there's instructions on how to do that from Outlook. Okay, but if you want to set up your own contact group, you can make a new group, or you can make a new contact. And so if you make a new group, it's just simply writing a name. So maybe this is basketball. Okay, so you've made your new group over here, and now you can add new contacts to that group. And so you just click on it, you put their email address in there. If you have them somewhere else, you could also search the contacts, and then, so for instance, if I wanted Sage to be in my contact group, I say, okay, Sage, and I want her to be in this group, and so you can add her to the basketball group. And now you have somebody in there. Okay, so it's you organize them and you put them into your categories. So you can make new contacts and new groups, and then you can send an email to those groups. Import any. Okay, any other questions about those three things so far? I'm going to talk about one other one for sure. Okay, so documents. And this is kind of an interesting one because one of the things, especially in the high school and in the elementary now too, I've responded to a few of those things too, where a person brings in one of those USB keys and they want to, I brought my document from home, or they email to themselves and things like that. What they'll be able to do, students will be able to do, and you'll be able to do, is be able to upload documents that you want to have access to here in the building at a different computer, different machine, and be able to save them in a common place. So this is kind of like your My Documents. We're not going to get rid of My Documents, right? But you will have this additional ability, and students now will have the ability to load something into their document folder, and then when they log in, be able to access those files. And so here's some Google Documents, for instance. Here, here's one, and you just click on it. It's like a word processing interface, and so they can do, a lot of the things that Microsoft Word could do. You can actually make spreadsheets. You can make PowerPoint-like things with this program as well. You can create, for instance, a new presentation, and it's like PowerPoint basically, right? And so there's a slide, and you make a new slide, and it's very intuitive, very the same sort of things that you can do with PowerPoint, but not having to open up any new program, just working within here.
And this is out of that same password thing?
Yep. When they've logged in once, they have access to all of these things. So you can look at all the items. You can look at the ones that are just owned by you, the ones you created. You can also look at ones that have been shared with you. Okay? So what you can do is you can share documents. You could create a document and then share it with the rest of your class. They all open it up and they say, okay, this is what I need to do today. Or maybe they have to finish a poem that you started, or maybe you give them the outline, you give them a template for a PowerPoint presentation, and they have to fill in the stuff with the information they find from research. So you can start them with a document, share it with them, and then they can continue on. So I don't know, there's a new sort of thing with collaboration that you can do with Google Docs. The other thing you can do is you can make templates, and I think this might be a cool thing for us to use. There's actually a section of just templates for our school. You can look at public templates, which are like on the internet, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of them. So templates for a whole bunch of different things, for calendars, for PowerPoint presentations, etc. But we can create our own. So we can upload something, I don't know, for Monday Memo, I just made one up. So you can use this template and create a document based on that. So you could have maybe a letterhead, right? You could have some of the common documents that we use all the time. You could also, another key thing I think that's going to be really handy is this. Exam schedules, you know how we kind of send those back and forth, and it's like revision 29 or whatever, and it's like the 29th email you've also gotten on that. Instead of doing that, what we can do is we can create a document that exists in the cloud, on the internet, and everybody collaborates on that document. It never moves, it's just there. Everybody has access to it and can edit the same document. And we don't have to worry about sending it out to people every time. They just go to where the document exists. And so the exam schedule, for instance, from semester 1, you could have it there, and then somebody says, oh, actually, it's not grade 7s, it's grade 8s. Save. You don't have to send an email, it's just corrected now, right? And that change has been made. And there's actually a revision history. You can actually go back and you can say, well, what is who's revised it and when did those revisions take place? And who's been malicious? Yeah. I want to be in room 202. Yeah. So that's actually pretty powerful too. If you do a collaborative document in a class, like if you had, maybe they're working on a research paper together, and you want to see who's contributed what, and their email addresses are going to show up as who has added what and who did the bulk of the work and all that stuff.
Nice. That's a good one.
So, I mean, there's some powerful things I think in the future there for us to use in teaching. Again, though, like the main thing I think I wanted to just get across is the mail and the calendar, and then just show you that there's other things you can do. There's another thing called sites, and we have a space where you can upload websites, and they can create their own websites, and it's very intuitive. They drag in things, and it's just there, and they can share it within the school, they can share it outside of the school. You have choice in how you want to publicize these things. But again, something that even an elementary class could do is create just a quick site of, here's what my portfolio looks like for my writing unit. And it's just right there, and they can share it with their parents. You could share it with their parents. And it's kind of
easy is to delete that website.
And it's just as easy to delete it. Yeah. And the back end is such that like I can delete them too, right? So it's not just them having the ownership of it. Okay, I think that's the big part. Any other questions that have come up so far? Concerns?
Speaking of questions, if we had questions along the way, is there any Gmail manual somewhere?
Yeah, there's a big help thing right here.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can just type in a question, and there's huge forums on this system is being used right now by the whole what's the big Los Angeles. The Los Angeles city is using this as their interface for interacting with each other. And so there's huge help forums, because whatever you're thinking of as an issue is going to be an issue that somebody else has, and you just search it, and there's tons of things in here. There's videos about a lot of the things that you need to be able to do in terms of transferring email and stuff like that. So the help files are really deep in terms of what you can find for help.